Greetings, Internet friends. Welcome to another episode of the Synergy Cafe online show featuring speaker, entertainer, close-up illusionist, and marketing alchemist, MagicBrad. It's the Internet lifestyle show about career, finance, relationships, spirituality, and wellness. We're moving the online chatter over to real-life activity. And now, please welcome your host of Synergy Cafe, MagicBrad.
Hey. So I'm going to bring our guest up in a little bit, and he's an author and a speaker, and he's met a lot of people, I noticed. I even saw Gary Vaynerchuk on there, and it looked like he was from a very young age of Gary V. So he's probably been around, but he's got a book, and his name is Noah St. John. And he's got a little website there. You can see it, Meet Noah. I like it when someone makes that real tight and concise, and that will redirect to his website so you can learn more about Noah. So let's go get him. He's in there somewhere. Knock on the door. Noah, are you in the green room there?
Hey. I'm right here, Brad. Great to see you.
How are you?
I'm well, and you?
I'll do in a pinch. What do they say? If you got a pulse, you're okay. I check that every morning.
They do indeed. Yes, sir.
So I try and keep these all condensed so that our viewers get a chance to consume everything. But I think the main thing is we're pushing is your book. But I want to learn a little bit more about you. I think you're from Ohio. And so how long have you been doing what you're doing?
Well, I actually grew up in Kennebunkport, Maine, believe it or not, home of the Bushes. And I've lived here in Ohio for the last 16 years. I met my beautiful wife here. So we've been happily married. Just celebrated our 12th wedding anniversary. And so what I do, as you mentioned, I'm an author, speaker, coach. I'm known as the mental health coach to the stars. And, I help entrepreneurs, authors, chiropractors, health professionals, experts to make more in just 12 weeks than they did in the last 12 months while winning their lives back. So I've helped my clients add over $2 billion over the last 25 years. And we just have a lot of fun.
Wow. You know, a lot of people go coaching. What's the coaching thing? My wife is a coach, and I've always been self-employed as an entrepreneur, and I'm kind of stubborn. And I've had some coaches down the road, so I'm not easily coachable because I'm so stuck in my rut. Mm-hmm. But just a shout out to coaches is you need that somebody that's outside of you and your self-talk to give you an idea, and that's the idea that could all of a sudden trigger that. Oh, I could do that to get to 7 figures. Something you don't even think about.
That's exactly what I've done for about 1,000 people over the last 20 plus years. But so we like to call that hockey stick growth. You'll appreciate this being up in Minnesota. You're going along like this, and then whoop, you get a hockey stick, and it's that secret right there, that secret sauce that enables our clients to add 6, 7, and 8 figures in record time. But also, I want to point out, while winning your life back, you showed my book a moment ago. It's called The 7-Figure Life: How to Leverage the 4 Focus Factors for More Wealth and Happiness. And that is really what I've been teaching for over 20 years now, is that it's not about the hustle and the grind. There's a lot of hustle and grinders out there that say, if you're not working 18 hours a day, then you're a loser. And I'm like, no, that means you don't have the right systems in place. Yeah. So we're all about giving people the right inner game and outer game systems so that they can, make a lot more money, but more importantly, win their lives back.
Yeah, I'm an automate and delegate kind of guy.
Exactly.
I'm doing some things because the internet, it provides you all that cool stuff. I got stuff that's hooked up to the weather. So when it gets cloudy out, it triggers something. Or if it rains, it triggers something.
Yep.
If you get a gust of wind, it triggers something. So there's ways of automating that so you don't spend all day on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter.
That's right.
So just something like that, you might have an insight that someone could see and go, oh my God. So I'm assuming that's kind of what this book is about. It's 4 focus factors. I'm interested in hearing what some of those 4 focus factors are, and other people should get the book, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So that's the book. But anyway, the 4 focus factors, I can tell you very quickly what they are. And when people hear the title of the book, The 7-Figure Life, most people assume it's all about money. You're only talking about money. And here's what I like to do. I mentioned that, I have coaching programs. I do one-on-one coaching, group coaching, but I also do keynote speeches for groups, conferences, teams, organizations all around the world. One of the things I like to do when I'm keynote speaking is I like to say to my audience members, Okay, let's play a little game here. Imagine I gave you $1 million, but there's just one stipulation, and that is you have no time to enjoy it, no time whatsoever. Does that sound like a good deal? And people go, no, that doesn't sound that great. Okay, well, I'll tell you what, I'll give you $1 million, but you have to be angry, miserable, and unhappy all the time. Sound good? No, that doesn't sound very good. Okay, how about I'll give you $1 million, but the only stipulation is you can't share it with anybody, you have no relationships, and you're all by yourself all the time. Sound good? No, right? None of that sounds any good. So that's what the 4 focus factors are in the 7-Figure Life book. The 4 focus factors are time, energy, relationships, and money. So that's why I use that word leverage, right? Because it's all about leveraging what you already have to get more of what you really want. And there's dozens of stories in the book about how I've helped my clients who, some of them were, $60,000 in debt, and I helped them get to a 6-figure income in less than 12 weeks. And, lots and lots of examples like that. So it's not just about the money. The money's important. Hey, we all want money, right? But it's really about having all the focus factors so that you can live a life of more wealth and happiness.
Well, it came to my mind when you're talking about that is this, yesterday I had to move some patio blocks, and they're the big ones, they're 2 by 2 by 2 inches thick, the heavy ones.
Mm-hmm.
And if someone wants to hustle and grind, you can grab that with your hands and try and pull it up. I used a lever.
That's right.
And it just lifted it right out of there.
That's right.
So if you use the right tool, or even know that the tool exists, and that's what a coach can kind of, have you thought about using a lever? What the hell is that?
Right. And of course, you remember the quote from Archimedes, give me a lever big enough and I can move the world. And that's exactly why I talk about leverage, because if you think about it, we all have these 4 focus factors. We all have time, we have energy, we have relationships, and we have money. What the problem is, everybody sits around and wishes and hopes they had more. Oh man, I wish I had more time. I wish I had more energy. I wish I had better relationships. I wish I had more money. Well, guess what? Wishing and hoping is not a strategy. Right. And so even the people are saying, oh, I don't have the time. I don't have the energy, relationships. I don't have the money. Well, you're not dead yet. So you have something. You have time. You're not dead. You have energy, you have relationships. And even if I talk about when I was $40,000 in credit card debt, I was working out of my parents' basement. And I found the money to hire a business coach to get me out of that awful situation. So if you find yourself in a situation that you don't like, yes, you do need to get help. And it's not just about watching YouTube videos, although that's a good start, but really you need that accountability, because information without transformation is just failed education.
Yeah, and the information needs to be relevant to your life. That's why a coach can adjust. A YouTube video can't,
That's exactly right.
And I used to have a business where me and my business partner, we had one of these love-hate relationships. We like working with each other, but sometimes we don't, because he was very internal. And it just got frustrating that he worked hard, but he expected me to work hard.
Yep.
And I wanted to outsource sales, but he wanted to grind on the phone, which was good. We made a lot of money.
Yep.
But I had a mild stroke. I says, I'm not going to die in this office. So I resigned and sold my shares. I just didn't want to hustle like that. It just wasn't. So I'm all about what you're talking about, because you can have $1 million, but it's not, what is it worth to you? I say, what's more valuable, $1 million or a glass of water? That depends on where you are. In the desert, I think I want the water.
That's a great example.
Yeah. So what got you into this whole thing, the whole personal?
Well, I grew up poor in a rich neighborhood. I shared a moment ago, I grew up in Kennebunkport, Maine, one of the wealthiest communities in New England, but my family was dirt poor. I mean that literally, because we lived at the bottom of a dirt road in a drafty, unfinished house that my parents ended up losing to foreclosure when I was just 15 years old. So I grew up with the painful experience of experiencing the chasm, the gap between the haves and the have-nots. The haves was everyone else in the community. The have-nots was my family. And so I hated being poor. And I hated it. I hated poverty and lack and not enoughness. That's what I grew up in. I saw right down the street, there's great wealth and abundance. So my whole life I've been, asking, how the heck do I get from here to there? And, it took a heck of a lot of work. I have all the arrows in my back to prove it. You heard the phrase pioneers get all the arrows. I got a bunch of arrows in my back, from being online. I mean, I've been online since 1997. I started in a 300 square foot basement apartment in 1997 with $800 in a book on HTML. And now I live in a 6,000 square foot mansion with my beautiful wife, and I have amazing clients all around the world, over 120 countries. So
you got kind of a Tony Robbins story.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah,
You hit
kind of.
time when there's no place else to go. The only place to go is up, right?
That's right, exactly. And going back to your point, I mean, I did hire that business coach when I didn't have the money. And so I use myself as an example of saying, listen, everyone watching this program has been in a situation where you quote unquote didn't have the money. Okay, but you found a way anyway. And that's the point, is when you find your why, you find the way. And if it's important enough to you, you make it work. You make what is a priority and you make it happen. And so the point is that when you learn how to leverage your time, energy, relationships, and money, that's when you get that hockey stick growth that, I talked about. And it's really powerful.
Yeah, when the desire is there. And I've seen people use the example of, there's this Lamborghini in the driveway and I'm willing to sell it to you for $997. You got the money?
Yes.
You can find the money when the value is there.
Exactly. So that's the difference between price and value, right? That's something, we talk about, because, right. I mean, absent value, price is always too high, but when the value is there, the price is always good.
And value is always perceived,
Correct.
You don't know what it's worth, because there's stuff that I've seen people buy and I go, why did you waste any time on that?
That's exactly right. Yes, I always talk about that with my clients too. Whether one-on-one or group coaching, we're always talking about the fact that there is no actual value. There's only perceived value. The example I love to give is, imagine if you have a nice juicy steak here and you're trying to sell it to a vegan. That's probably not going to go that well, right? But the steak has value to certain people. To an omnivore like me, I'm like, yeah, I'll take it. But the vegan's like, so you got to understand who you're talking to.
I talk a lot about marketing and the idea of alignment, so that the product is relevant to the prospect. You can't sell hamburgers and hot dogs to vegans and vegetarians. I don't care how many swipes and views you get.
That's right.
Good point. Well, I don't, like I said, I try and keep these kind of tight.
Yeah.
But let's talk about some other things. Like do you work in any specific niche, or is it like anybody with a pulse that needs some help?
Well, I mean, the first thing is, are you coachable? You mentioned a moment ago that you're not very coachable and you're set in your ways. Well, I don't know, but I've been able to unscrew a few locks, I guess you could say. But really, it's for people, entrepreneurs, experts, authors, health professionals. I also work with network marketers, but any kind of affiliate marketers, online marketers, people who want that hockey stick growth, who are tired of the hustle and grind. And frankly, people who want to have more time, more energy, better relationships, and more money without losing your life, without having to sacrifice your family, your friends, and your personal life. So it really is about, I talk a lot about that, one of my favorite flexes is turning my computer off at 5 p.m. And, when I started out with nothing, I mean, yeah, I was working 14, 16, 18-hour days. That was in my 30s. I'm in my 50s now. I don't feel like it. I can still do it, but I don't want to, And so it's really for the people who want, or for the person who wants to get the time, the energy, relationships, and money, and understand that it is about leveraging what you already have to get more of what you really want. I'll give you a quick example of that. I was working with one of my clients, and his name's Charles. And I said, I asked him the question I asked all my clients, whether one-on-one or group coaching. I said, if we don't get these systems in place, we're talking about inner game and outer game systems. If we don't get these systems in place this year, what do you think that's going to cost you? He said, I'm going to lose $1 million this year. It's literally going to cost me $1 million if I don't get this in place. I said, just give me 10% of that million and I will find you that $1 million this year. In other words, if you give me $1 and I give you $10 back, is that a good deal? He goes, yeah, that's a good deal. So he paid me $100K. Now that's 10% of $1 million. Well, in the next 12 months, I didn't find him $1 million. I found him $1.8 million in 10 months. So talk about hockey stick. He gave me $1. I gave him $18 back. Is that a good deal? No, that's a great deal. Now, of course, that's for one-on-one. That's for high-level people. But, we have group coaching too. We've helped people. Like we had one client who tripled her investment in 2 weeks. We hadn't even gotten to the money part yet. So it's really powerful once you start to leverage these 4 focus factors.
Yeah, I think a lot of people get in this place of this, you go to school and you're kind of programmed when that bell rings, you go to the next class and you kind of learn this hourly mentality.
Yes.
You get a job and you're limited as far as how many hours you can work, and you're limited as far as how much your employer will pay you. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I've always been self-employed. And when I started, I was doing magic shows. And in 1991, I created this trade show, this Event Planner Expo.
Mm-hmm.
And that had event planners come to me instead of me searching them out, and I actually made about 40 grand off the expo. So I learned how to do trade shows that brought my ideal client to me. And now I can make money by prospecting instead of doing advertising and
Right.
stuff. Just
Very
an
smart.
idea like that can help, and it takes someone like a coach to kind of trigger that to you, which leads me to my next final question here.
Yes.
Is I'm a hard to coach because I've been doing this stuff. I'm in that rut. Do you have any techniques that you use to disrupt the brain and say, okay, I'll look at that new idea?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I have tons. That's why we've helped people get that hockey stick 6, 7, and 8 figures in record time. One thing you can do right now for everybody watching the program, number one is understand what your number one goal is for the next 12 months. Now, there's lots of people out there to teach goal setting, and they say, well, write down your top 20 goals, your top 50, your top 100. And I'm like, I don't care about that. Not that they're not important. Not that we're saying, that doesn't matter. I'm saying that what most people are trying to do is go from where they are to where they want to be. And there's a gap between those two spaces.
Yeah.
The problem is they've got 20 half-built bridges trying to go from here to there. And what good is a half-built bridge? Not very good, because you're going to walk along and splat. All right. So we don't want that. We want one built bridge, right? I'd rather see, for everybody watching, I'd rather see you have one done bridge than 20 half-built bridges. So
Yes.
that's what I'm stunningly good at, is helping my clients build one bridge at a time. Not saying you can't have 5 or 10 or 20. I absolutely believe in multiple streams of income. Absolutely true. However, let's just do one at a time.
Yes.
Because the longer you have 20 half-built bridges, the more you're going to stay right where you are. So that's one of the key things that you can do. Just focus on building one bridge at a time, and then you can go to the next one. That's really hard for a lot of people, but I really help people to get those. That's why we call them the focus factors, to help you focus so you can get more done in less time.
You've heard of the magnifying glass analogy of using it to burn the sun and burn the wood.
That's right.
And if you move it to another bridge, you lose it. You lose the other one, and then you got to move it again.
That's
Nothing
right.
ever gets hot enough to ignite a flame, and it's kind of like a waste of time.
That's exactly right. It's exactly a waste of time.
Very hard to focus, though, in these days of.
We live in a world of infinite distractions. So that's one thing that I'm stunningly good at, is helping people to focus. And boy, though, do they fight me on that? They're like, I'm like, okay, listen, if you want to keep getting what you're getting, then keep doing what you're doing. Don't change. And they're like, rats.
Very cool.
Sorry.
Well, why don't you share verbally how we can get a hold of you? I know that you got that cool website, but maybe you've got others.
Yeah.
So why don't you go ahead and share?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. So first of all, for the book, you can go to 7figurelifebook.com. Very easy to remember. 7, the number 7, 7figurelifebook.com. And I'll give you $300 in free bonus gifts when you order the book on 7figurelifebook.com. Also, go to breakthroughwithnoah.com. Very easy to remember. Breakthroughwithnoah.com. And there's a really cool video there about how I help my clients make more in just 12 weeks than they did in the last 12 months while winning their lives back. And you can also schedule a breakthrough session with me or one of my Power Habits coaches at breakthroughwithnoah.com.
Okay, and here's also how you can get a hold of Noah. It's meetnoah.com, and that'll probably take you to all the different stuff. And that's the guy right there doing the magic. See, that's doing a magic trick.
Beautiful.
Well, Noah, this has been fun. I'm going to pop you into the green room, and if you want, there's some. I don't have any alcoholic beverages back there, but if you want,
I don't drink anyway.
I gave it up too. It's expensive and it gives you a headache.
I never drank anyway. I was a teetotaler from birth, so there you go.
Good for you. I had to be forced into it.
I just never liked it. Even in high school, everybody was drinking, and I'm like, why would you do that? So anyway, it's just me.
Good common sense. Okay, I'm going to pop you in there. If you want to stick around, we'll have another chat.
Absolutely.
Go ahead and take off.
This was fun.
Thanks. So there you got it, our friend Noah, and he was on Synergy Cafe. Again, it's meetnoah.com is how you find him. And then he's got his book. There's the book, and you can go to noahstjohn.com/books, or I'll bet you could just search for it on Amazon or stuff like that and be able to find that stuff. So there you go. This has been MagicBrad with Synergy Cafe. Enjoy the rest of your day. Be good, be kind, be nice. Did I say be nice? Be nice. See ya.